It's the technology. The technology's working, so we're live on ShineCast. That's good. The technology seems to be playing ball. That's a good thing. Oh, yeah. And the sound, again, yeah, very good. All that, special that, do that, do that. Excellent. Right, I'm here. Let's see. Jimmy, you're there, are you? Yes. You. Oh, by the way, look, we've got the background there. That's more hieroglyphics. And yeah, that's definitely an ancient one. Okay. Should we get this thing underway?
Do it.
We will. Let's get the magic screen up there. Ooh. Okay. And we'll press that there. Ooh, mute myself. Who's joining? Oh, look, we've already got someone joining us there on Periscope. Stand by Periscope. Stand by all platforms. We're on Periscope, Facebook, YouTube, and wherever you happen to be watching that isn't one of those three that I've just mentioned, as we continue with ShineCast any second now. Thanks for joining. Be part of the conversation. Well, I pressed the button and it looks like it didn't work. I think it did. It's just technology playing around again. We're definitely live, but welcome everyone. Yes, a little pause for myself just after those titles, but I'm trusting in the technology and I'm trusting that this man, yes, he's there. There he is.
Hello.
Back in the show, there is Jimmy, all the way from Japan while I'm in England. How you doing?
Cheers.
Cheers to you as well. Yeah. It's now just, well, part of the deal, isn't
Johnny
it?
Walker Black Label.
Jimmy
Today.
and his tipple of the day. So how's things been the last week, Jimmy?
It's great. It's great. It's been a great week. Yeah. I mean, how about for you?
Very busy bit of travel for a new project that's starting out soon. Well, it's already kind of started, but it's going to mushroom very soon. Community project, all to do with local video and live things happening all around the town. Yeah, that's all I can say right now. But
Well,
if people
how's the coronavirus atmosphere there?
Already,
we're in October now.
We've had more announcements, Prime Minister, with his red nose on, no big top though. I think he was in some sort of teepee. Well, anyway, it was Downing Street. I think I last saw him speaking from that location.
Yeah, but forget about what the politicians say. It's all,
Well, it's relevant actually because of course they're all telling us what to do.
Exactly. Yes.
The new guidance and advice. But of course we now have new laws, and this thing about only 6 people can meet in their bubble if they're going out for dinner.
Draconian laws.
And in their house as well, or their apartment, wherever they live. But depends where you live now, because we're having.
What happens if your family is more than 6 people? You got to throw out the baby? What's the deal?
Well, it's a very good point, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the reason I'm mentioning all that is because we've got all these new laws and rules in place. But 36 hours ago, 24 hours ago, the news broke that there was a minister from the Scottish Parliament. She travelled down to London, and I think she had symptoms. She gave a presentation in Parliament or somewhere official, and then she travelled back on public transportation as well to Scotland, but she'd had a test and she'd been advised that she had the coronavirus. She should have been in isolation. So yeah,
traveling after she had been advised.
Yeah, she knew that. Well, she certainly had the symptoms. So come on, was it responsible to go into a situation in a meeting, for work, whoever you are? But of course, she thought she was above the law, and she's not the average person, right? Well, unfortunately, I think she'll be losing her title if she hasn't done in the last few hours. The last I heard reported was that the First Lady of Scotland, Nicola Sturgeon, she speaks so well, and she'd make a great Prime Minister. I think certainly better than Mr. Johnson. But she gave a great presentation, a brief presentation on the matter. Mentioned that this lady, can't remember her name now. Margaret someone, I think, and let's call her Margaret anyway. She's a friend of Nicola Sturgeon, but as she said, effectively no holds barred here. With a heavy heart, she had to say that no matter who you are, the rules are the rules, the law is the law, and there are no excuses or reasons that this member of the Scottish Parliament, Margaret, can give to appease the situation. Now she has to really consider her position as a politician, and effectively Nicola Sturgeon was saying that she thinks that her friend and colleague should step down. There's no other way around this.
Margaret Ferrier.
Margaret Ferrier, thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, exactly. That's her. And what a disgrace, to the human race. And I don't, for the rest of her days now, this woman, this should just hang over her. And nothing, she knew what she was doing, traveling hundreds of miles from the north of the British Isles right to the south on public transportation and back again. And then, of course, we've got the other clown on the other side of the Atlantic. Sorry, I know he's in your good books, but the president of the United States of America, USA President Donald Trump, of course, now has coronavirus, along with his first lady wife.
I'm sure he'll be fine.
Are you? Well, it depends when.
I don't think it's such as. I don't take it as such a big deal. I mean,
say that because it,
I think you should be careful. I think you should be careful, but I mean, I think this. Well, it depends on where you're from. As I said before, I'm still wondering what happened in Italy and Spain.
Right.
It's a little bit crazy, but I don't know. It's maybe because I'm in a country where nothing's happening. Like it's no big deal whatsoever. Oh, yeah, everybody's careful and everybody's like corona this, corona that, but
I could be speaking to someone instead of yourself down the street to you, in another small town, and it could be, well, it's going to be, the number of people that are infected, carriers, sufferers, and the deceased. It's going to be a different number and a different ratio. And
I'm really wondering why. I'm wondering why. Why is it think the ratio is so different?
Jimmy,
I mean,
there are dirty people in this world. There are clean people in this world. There are people that mix with lots of others. There are some that are a bit more reclusive and they just don't like mixing with other people. And they're not so, pally, buddy.
So are you telling me that the places that have a large scale, was it infection, is that they're dirty?
I'm saying to you that I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say to you that their hygiene can be questioned at times, and I mean we're talking a cultural thing here. Again, don't get me wrong.
No, I'm very interested in hearing
they may be more dirty, and I'm not saying they're tramps, and not all tramps are dirty. All right, this is the point. We've got to be careful, obviously, what we're saying, clarify what we're saying here. The fact is, on a scale of 1 to 11, some people think that clean is at number 5, number 6, whereas others, such as the Queen of England, will tell you it's number 11, possibly 11.11, right? So when you have a comparison, I'm saying the people that are suffering from this and any other disease, cough, cold, flu, or coronavirus, etc., their habits are different. I mean, we had lockdown, a local lockdown in a place, Leicester, in Leicestershire, over recent weeks, and they found a high percentage of people there working in sweat factories, sweatshops. And they reckon that that's what's causing it. There's a lot of slave labor there, I hasten to add. Nothing further was heard of that. Modern day slavery taking place. They know about it. Why is no one doing anything about it? There's not enough law enforcement. And the point is, it's all part of the economy that we'd rather not think about. Those stores, we have one in the UK called Primark. Why are their items so much more affordable? Because we still have people working for a pittance in other countries, and they earn in a year what we will earn in a week here in England with the average job. Modern day slavery, it's got to stop. All these luxuries, and everyone's like, oh yeah, I do care, really, I do care about people, I'm a good person. And I'm like,
just stop buying the luxuries. It's very simple. Stop buying the luxuries.
don't. And their
Well, I'm
attitude.
not going
Oh
to.
well, when someone else stops buying it, and that's the norm, then I'll join it. But until then, I won't be an early adopter. I won't be one of the first people to do that stuff.
No,
Oh, yeah.
it's very hard. But let's go back to the coronavirus.
Yes.
No, I mean, obviously, I'm careful about it, but I guess it's a cultural thing. I'm living in Japan where everybody just is kind of respectful to each other more so. So it's not a big deal. It is a
Mhm.
big deal. It's like, yeah, sure, you could get it, and it could be, I don't know, it could be deadly to a very, excuse me, for a very few people. But
You okay there?
yeah, I feel completely safe in Japan. It's just very interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
when I was going to say I agree with that. That's all I ever hear about Japan. On the whole, is that it's a safe place to be, even on the streets there.
absolutely.
And the culture, the community. People have more respect for one another in Japan, wouldn't you say? Than
I think
say
it might be because of the small space. It might be because of the small space, so they respect each other's private
no,
space
no.
a lot
I
more.
mean, England's a pretty small country, and so too is Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, so it's not like Russia, for example, spanning, what is it, about 8 time zones at least.
Yeah,
So spaces at a premium. I mean, you have other islands as well. Well, I mean, somewhere like Malta, maybe in the middle of the Mediterranean.
population toward space is yeah.
I was just yeah. Well, the reason I mentioned Malta was again, it's more family orientated in that part of the world, in the Mediterranean as a whole, whether it's mainland or on an island. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? People do have more respect over there in the Far East. Yeah.
Yeah, so this anyway, I would like this MP Margaret Ferrier. Let's get back to her for a second.
Right.
So I mean,
Yes, we
I
can
wouldn't be
do.
so quick to condemn her, because
Just
obviously,
letting people know, Jimmy, by the way, look, inadvertently, so I'll let them know while it's there. If they want to know more about you, it's right there at the bottom of the screen now.
yeah.
They can't miss it. It's big enough. JimmieHeaven.com. That's this man. And I think does it still take to Facebook at the moment? I think it does, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does.
Yeah, right.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I know in this new was it internet world that everybody is so quick to condemn somebody, which is ridiculous.
Right. Yeah,
Not that I agree, that I agree with her, or I do or not agree with her, or I don't agree with her, but it's everybody's just like shouting obscenities at each other online, which is ridiculous. All
That's
under
the thing, isn't it?
behind the protection of their little their computer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
When
language,
dares
isn't
say
it? The language that people are prepared to use online, it's even worse than they would ever have dared to do had social media not been around in
Yeah,
person. They would not, they'd
exactly,
still not have done that in
exactly,
person.
exactly.
I mean, I've said
And
a couple
beating
of
these
things.
politicians, even though I dislike politicians in general. I hate all
Really?
politicians. Absolutely, I hate most politicians. I mean, the American president isn't a politician. That's why I like him.
I had a
I
feeling you
like
were going to say something like that. Yeah.
no, people who are in politics. They are doctors, or they were business owners, or they actually had a life in the working sector. I have much more respect for them than just some lawyers that study law and become politicians.
Mm-hmm.
I have no respect for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has that always been the case, or is it
Yeah.
something you've grown to
I think no. I think
dislike?
at a younger age, you have an idealistic view of politicians, that they're working for the good of society, which is untrue.
Yeah. Well,
Most of them are just career politicians.
the problem I've got that, and I keep questioning it and myself, is that when I was younger, I used to enjoy what I was seeing on TV, and I remember exactly what I was thinking when I was watching newscasts back then. Who was it? It was a Thatcher government, wasn't it? And then you had all the other Conservative Party as well, John Major. Oh my goodness me, the Grey Man, as he was known. But when I was listening to some of that stuff on the news, I was just thinking to myself, when I was young, was, yeah, these guys, they're in control. They're looking after us as a society and a nation. And here we are now, where I'm thinking, what a little club they're in, and all looking after one another primarily. And
Not everybody, not all of them.
no, but because my thought process and the cynical side has,
If they're a career politician, most likely. If they've been in politics their whole life, yeah.
It's
They don't know. They're
but
not
the
doing
thing
it.
I don't know is it just the fact that I'm that little bit older and wiser and know what's really going on, and in terms of how they're governing or not, and trying to run the show and the government at the moment when it comes to something like coronavirus. It's just been a disaster. And I'm not being, honestly, some of the students in secondary school, or college or university, could have done better with their little finger. I mean, really, the amount of U-turns that the government's been doing recently. Oh yeah, don't go to work, do go to work, don't go to work.
Relying on the government is the problem. Okay, so to actually think that you're going to get some kind of advice from the government is the problem. I'm sorry if you're trusting the government and you're waiting.
The first problem is that they don't remind us, because people do need reminding. Because number one, there's a lot of people out there that want guidance and reassurance, but they do need reminding that however brainy these politicians are, apparently, they are only human.
They aren't.
And when there is a situation such as the COVID-19 pandemic right now, which we've never had to deal with or experience in our lifetimes. So, and the economy obviously has never seen anything like it, in the existence of planet Earth, in the way we know the economy today. So it doesn't hurt any politicians to say, look, we don't know, but we're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have and the experience we have.
Oh, they should say that then. They should say that very clearly.
Well, and I'm the one that's got to suggest it to them, and all the other people that have heard all this BS.
You should run for office. Why don't you run for office, Martin?
Right,
run for office.
They've been telling me to run in the opposite direction, particularly if I did knock at their door. But this is the thing. There's such an uncertainty. None of them are prepared to be the first to put themselves on the line and say
no responsibility. They feel they're not going to say anything. They're all about protecting the career. They're never going to say anything that means anything or that they believe in, even if it would hurt their reputation, which means nothing. I'm telling you, it means nothing. This being beat up on the internet means nothing.
Well, they're scared. They're frightened that if they say something like I've just said, and like I said to you, it's like when you say something, it can be taken in more than one way. It's ambiguous, right? So you've got to clarify. And so long as you clarify what you mean, like I said earlier on, we were talking about cleanliness, saying that some people are dirtier than others, and those that are suffering more than others in their communities, maybe it's a dirty culture that's living in that region. And I'm saying yes, but we've got to qualify comparing to what? Yeah. So I mean, our clean water that we drink, that comes out of the faucet taps in the sinks, in the average home, it's drinkable. It is the most pure water you can have, until you then consider bottled water and mineral water. And then on a scale of 1 to 11, where do you put your tap water? It's not at the top anymore. It's not so clean, with all the impurities in it, and particularly the chlorine.
It might have been a little cleaner a few decades ago. The tap water.
Well, while we're on the subject, have you ever wondered when you're drinking, even any water, but just how many people and animals it's passed through?
Yeah, of course, but that's the beauty of nature.
And how many things can you buy on planet Earth now? Yeah, how many things can you actually pay for that have been used so many times before, yet they're still sold as new?
As new, yes.
I mean, dinosaurs are drinking this stuff millions of years ago, allegedly. Absolutely. Apparently, when they were on the planet.
It's incredible.
And just think to yourself, the royalty, because some people like to it's a good thing, your royalty. Again, I've got to qualify. I'm going to say some people, as soon as you mention that, they don't respect royalty, but others are like, oh yeah, the closest I can get to royalty. Well, if I drink that,
royalty is the same. It's the same. It's the same as these career politicians. It's not any different.
Well, let me tell you, it's interesting you say that. Just before we just hold that thought.
Progress. Wait a second. Any progress or all the solutions, also not only progress, but considering this like COVID-19 situation, but any progress is always made by the private sector. There's anything that the government touches turns to crap. So it's always the private sector. There might be some government
Oh,
controls that
we're talking about the Jeff Bezos now, and yeah, people like
anything,
that. Yeah, Elon Musk.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. As soon as the
No, but you
government,
know what? Those
yeah.
things are government subsidized, so they're taxpayer subsidized.
Mm-hmm.
That you're talking, but not Jeff Bezos, but Elon Musk.
Right. Well, yes, but you're right that they don't. They verbalize as soon as they can see a trend in a positive way with one of these private sort of
They're
initiatives.
10 years too late.
Straight away. Yeah, you're right. Right. Yeah.
They're
Even
always
with
10 years
yeah,
too late.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then of course somehow they'll try and claim that it was through their input that this thing happened in a positive way. Right.
Unfortunately, we have to live with the government. Wasn't it John Lennon says it's the best we got, so we got to deal with it?
I'm not sure. You'd have to give them a call just to double check on a crystal ball.
Well, you want me to get the quote for you?
You can, but there's a quote on the screen that you could have considered.
Hey
first.
guys, happy Friday! Happy Friday! It's already Saturday where I am.
Right? Yeah. What is it? Nearly 20 minutes past midnight in Japan, right?
Yep.
Wow. Time just flies past, and of course that means you're 8 hours ahead of me here. In England, it's almost 20 minutes past 4 p.m. as we're live. Of course, people will be watching this in the year 2047, potentially at 11 minutes past 11 p.m. or whenever. And even if I said to you now, the weather is dire outside. It really is. It's been driving rain for the last 36 hours or so where I am. In fact, where I just came from, as I said, I was at the coast. I came back. I've been working in the past week towards a new business and new venture, and been very, very productive actually, and a lot of interest from the people that I think should be interested, and that's all good. So, but it's been the weather. Actually pleasantly. I was told all week it was going to rain where I was, and for where I've come back to in London. But each day passed by, the weather forecast suddenly changed for the morning or the afternoon a few hours before. It was a bit of a microclimate there, so that's been pretty good. And here we are now. So, but what's the weather like where you are, Jimmy, at the moment? How's that doing?
What is it? It's got to be. Well, you got to understand that it's 20 minutes past midnight, right?
It is.
So, what do you want, Celsius or Fahrenheit?
You can do it in old money. That's fine. Fahrenheit is good.
Let's do Celsius at 21 degrees Celsius and 70 degrees Fahrenheit at midnight, 20 past midnight.
Really? 20 odd degrees there?
Yeah.
Celsius, centigrade. Is it so centigrade Celsius or?
Celsius.
Yeah. You see, it depends where you are on the planet, really. We've got is it the French that we have to thank for that along the way somewhere with all that as well? It's like with I'm thinking grams and ounces. That's right. And they have over in France, they have the metal. I think it's
Is it France?
Of platinum. Metal.
Yeah, where they keep they're keeping the
reference to how much 1 gram weighs.
Was that France?
I believe so. Jimmy's going to do his research right now. Brenda says that she's working and listening. Okay, we must be working twice then, Brenda, because it can be a bit of a chore listening to this, I can tell you. So there you go. She's listening twice, Jimmy. How's that? One left ear, one right ear. She can listen to 2 things at the same time. Awesome. Hope work's going well there today, where you are. Jimmy's saying what? You're about to say something. Tell us.
Where does Brenda? What does Brenda do again? What does she work? What is she working?
Well, she's in a school.
Oh, okay.
Working there with plenty of students in a high school, secondary school.
Yeah. I see.
What is herself, I'm sure she manages.
What is she doing in school?
How do you mean? What is she?
Well, what kind of work does she do in the school?
Oh, she's going to tell you. Oh, I'm surprised. Oh, she can't call in because she's actually probably at her desk right now, and she's got the earbuds in. Just kind of hush hush.
I see. Okay.
She's obviously busy at the moment because there hasn't been a follow up with the comment, and as I speak, something's coming on the wires. I'm taking
next Friday off. We'll join in the conversation next week. Okay, so we'll learn about Brenda next week.
Right, well, everyone, next week, unfortunately, ShineCast is going to have to be cancelled. Oh my goodness, we'll be here forever now talking next week. Maybe I should just take some time off myself then from this work and leave it to you two. It'll be a conversation. You definitely need a couple of bottles there, Jimmie. That's what I'm thinking and saying. Yeah.
So she's an administrator and teacher. Very interesting.
Yeah, there you are. But she doesn't teach admin. Is that right, Brenda? Oh, how confusing. But yeah, Matthew Likes Onion joined us on Periscope, and I wonder if Matthew, the only reason I know that because I had a little peer in there on the actual Periscope app, which is running on one of my digital devices here. I can see when people are joining, but I'm not really monitoring that. But we are monitoring your chat. If you type something, please do, everyone, and you can certainly let everyone see your comments, as Brenda's doing right now. She's obviously watching on Facebook. It tells us right there.
So actually, the Periscope, was it comments are not available.
Yes, they are
to us. Well, they are to you, but they're not to me.
They are on here when someone comments from the platform, as is happening now on Facebook. People can comment right now on
but
Facebook.
you said somebody was commenting on
No,
Periscope.
I saw. He told me that they joined. It says it pops up a message as saying.
I see.
But that doesn't pop up here unless you actually type. Okay,
so
come on, people on Periscope there, type your messages. We want to hear from you and share this out, like it, and follow as well, so you won't miss a thing next time. Hey, I was talking about this town that I was in. It's a very connected town when it comes to history, and I've mentioned this, I think, previously on one of these briefly on a ShineCast, but let me tell everyone now that the town is where Charles Dickens used to go for vacation holiday often, and he's very well known there, and he completed his book Bleak House while he was residing in Broadstairs. That's in the area of Kent, which is southeast England. It's east of London, about 80 miles. And I thought I was going to share something with everyone, Jimmie, just to show you guys and girls what's been going on there, because it's what with its history and just the fact that it's a great beach resort, seaside town. Often people go there to film TV, feature films, and Martin, can't remember his name, Martin Freeman was there just the other day, and they were filming a TV show, I believe, there as well.
Who's Martin Freeman?
Yeah, he's an actor. I check it out there in the show Breeders, it's called, which I've never seen myself, but it's called Breeders, and I think it's on a channel called Sky TV over here in England. And everyone in town seemed to.
Oh, I've seen this guy before.
You have? Yeah. Should we see what was going on over there? Want to have a look?
Sure.
Yeah. This video showed you what they were filming there, the crew there and the public watching, but it certainly drew a lot of attention in the town centre, as it often does. And well, here it is. And there we go, everyone. That was indeed what was happening down in Broadstairs, and a little sneak preview as well there, Jimmy, to the new project that's being initiated in that town. It was, wasn't it? It's a bit of a long video, that, but hey, very enjoyable, as I've been told by a lot of people. And you could see everyone was socially distancing there in the crew, the film crew. And the weather held out for them, because just as they finished filming, and they wrapped, which was probably about 5 p.m. on Wednesday, it was this week, a couple of days ago, it started to drizzle, and then the rain just came after that in the evening, certainly. Yeah, on my
Filming.
way back. Yeah, well, yeah. Sorry.
Well, no, it's funny, because I was living in Hollywood for what, close to 20 years, and
How do I know that?
because that's where we met. We met in Hollywood.
We met in Hollywood.
We met in
Really?
Hollywood. And I remember I used to hate the filming when it would happen around where I lived,
Yeah.
I'd want to drive somewhere, and there'd be like somebody filming. It's like, come on, man, we have to film here. But yeah, it's Hollywood, so what do you expect? They're filming every day somewhere, and every place is a location. So it was funny. Like, everybody was like so excited about the Oscars, and I was like, oh no, they're gonna block the street again.
Yeah, exactly. I remember that. And what was the hotel where the Golden Globes were? Over it was on the cross street, was kind of Santa Monica Boulevard, and was it Hollywood Boulevard as well? No.
Santa Monica and Hollywood.
No, it was right on. It was literally in Beverly Hills.
Oh, that's much further out then.
It was on the side of Century City. There's a hotel there, and I can't.
It's completely different place you're talking about.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. The Trader. Isn't there a sign there?
Trader Joe's.
No, that's a store, and I always go to call it that. So the fact that, I think it wasn't it called Trader Vic, maybe, and that was on the, and it was when it's like cross street. It was kind of, it wasn't like that, the cross street. It was more like that. And as I say, it's just on the city limits of Doheny, there, Beverly Hills, and
you're talking about, was it West Hollywood now?
But it's where the Golden Globes were, and it was further down. Anyway, I just remember it was chaos there with all the limousines trying to get in, and a bit of a nightmare. But those are the days, when we were a little bit further west on the globe, both of us. But that's a factory. The whole city is a film factory, and it's kind of if you're filming in Los Angeles, it's almost like that takes precedence over everything else, as you were saying, Jimmy, because the local the city halls, they know that's
Waldorf Astoria.
The economy is all about. The Waldorf Astoria, I think it was that one. Yes, it was. Yeah, definitely. And I just remember
you're talking about Beverly Hills. This is completely not Santa Monica and.
Well, Santa Monica. No. Santa Monica's further west towards.
No. I know. I'm talking about. You were talking about Hollywood a second ago. So this is completely in a different area. This is much more west.
I was talking about Hollywood as in the badge, as in the sign that you can see all around. Everyone, right. But
Beverly Hills. It's Beverly Hills. I mean, it's on Santa Monica Boulevard. Yes.
And of course, I was back there a couple of years ago, last time, and even before then. I mean, now that they've got do you remember the Kodak Theatre never used to be there, and now it is. I mean, that area is, I say, totally transformed. It's still, that's where
when I was there, it was crackheads and prostitutes and all that kind of fun. Lots of drugs and
they haven't,
strippers and gangbangers.
It's kind of all moved to the sides, and that's the problems that a lot of communities around that area have got now. They're complaining to their local authorities that the problem hasn't gone; it's just dispersed elsewhere, as often happens with things. The same at the moment. I mean, we're back to coronavirus again. You've got me thinking.
The weather is nice. The weather is nice.
Of course it is. Yeah, but again, it can be too much. I remember. I mean, when I was there, what is it? Decade ago, just over, because that's when the weather, El Nino, everyone keeps referring to.
I remember that.
And mudslides became more of a regular thing wintertime. And now LA, you never used to have rain in the winter so much, did you? But now it's kind of a given.
There was always a rain period. I can't remember if it was February or March or sometime where it would be rain for like a week or two. But you got to understand, that was the only rain that was of. Hello, Misty. There was the only rain, and I think it rains another 2. I mean, it rains so few times that I can barely remember. So it must have rained like once or twice, and it's not even, you can't even call it rain. If you're coming from London or if you're coming from Japan, you can't even call it rain. It's only that 2 week period, the end of winter, the beginning of spring, sometime where it rains very heavily. And I remember I used to live at the foot of the Hollywood Hills, so I'd walk out and the water would be rushing down, from the Hollywood sign. So
Well, you have the man-made kind of water. I was going to call them water features.
reservoir.
No, you've got the reservoir, but you've got the Hollywood Reservoir. What a great area that is, right up there next to the Hollywood sign.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
You go for a good old walk. Loads of people go up there, walk the dogs up there, and just
Runyon Canyon, and yeah, absolutely.
No, what I was thinking of though, if you particularly if you go over, because LA is kind of split, for those that don't know, by the Hollywood Hills. In the north of the Hollywood Hills, you have what people call the Valley, and it goes on for ages, the Valley area, right? And then you've got what they call the City, which is south of the Hollywood Hills, on the southern side of those. But obviously to get from one place to the other, you have to go through Mulholland and Laurel Canyon, and that involves literally a drive up the hills and drive back down again, a bit like the Grand Old Duke.
I would take the freeways. Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah, you could take what is the 101, just
the 101.
The Hollywood Freeway. But the reason I'm mentioning that again is even on the valley side, you have these channels, and they're dry for most of the time, and it's just concrete. But then suddenly, if there's a rainfall, oh my goodness, they are full up within, well, I say minutes, within the hour kind of thing.
They save that water for years.
Wow. The problem is, though, is that the water falls so fast that this is why there are always warnings and warning signs. But children could often be skating or other activities there in that area, that otherwise is flooded with water. And before you know it, that is it. Once the water comes along, it just gushes along. And if you're not careful, you're going to drown. So you got to take some advice there. And as I say, it's absolutely a place.
What's up, guys? What is the topic today?
I say from LA though, from 1 minute to the next, with the weather. Generally, it's very warm, particularly in the summertime. But it can.
Well, no, it's just good weather. It can be cold, it can be warm, but it's always good weather. And actual fact, a big problem with living in LA is that time passes so fast because there is no seasons. There's no distinctive seasons, and it's a big problem. So. I was there for 20 years, and it went by, I think, a little too fast, because if you were standing inside and looking out a window, if you weren't a botanist, you probably couldn't tell the difference between June and December.
Yeah,
so that's a big problem. So where I'm guessing where you're living, or if I remember living in New Jersey, or now I'm living in Japan. There's markers for seasons. There's like very distinctive markers.
Yeah.
The leaves changing color, the leaves disappearing, and stuff like that. And then in the spring, when things start to sprout out, but especially in Southern California, where we met in Los Angeles, it's green all year round. It's just maybe in January, this flower is blooming, and then in June, this flower is blooming, and then in October, this flower is blooming. So you would have, as I said, you'd have to be a botanist.
See, you say it's green all the year round, but of course, because it really is a city built in the desert, of course, that's as soon as you drive out and away from the central sort of city parts of LA, very quickly it becomes yellow and sandy and deserty. But this year here, in England, we have had a very long extended summer. A lot of people will be looking back thinking, no, this was bad this year, but that's because of the pandemic, obviously.
Absolutely.
Shadowing everything. But the summer, in terms of the weather, has been brilliant. At the beginning of the year, sort of April, May time, great weather all the way throughout. And even until about a week ago, sunny weather. We're still going to have a few sunny days here and there, a bit chillier now, but it's almost like someone switched, that switch from summer to winter, and almost missed out fall, autumn in the last week.
I think these days the summer and winter, it's just summer and winter, and there's a less of a autumn and spring. A lot of people will tell you it's this global warming or whatever it is, but it's just, I think it just changes every once in a while. every few decades, the weather patterns change.
Hmm.
And I wanted to remind everybody that today's show is bringing me to you by Johnny Walker Black Label. Okay.
Right. When are they going to start sponsoring you for real, though, Jimmy? That's the question. But yes, glad you're still enjoying the moment there with your tipple, your drink of the moment. Wonder what we're gonna have to tune in next week to find out what next week's drink's going to be for sure.
Well, actually, I forgot that I had prepared a bottle of Lambrusco, Italian red sparkling wine today, but I
Was it red,
forgot it.
Lambrusco? Okay, yeah, right.
No, you can get Lambrusco in red, rosé, or white.
Yeah,
I prefer the red.
I wouldn't have. I thought it was just white. Well, that's probably the most popular, the most common that I've seen, I guess. But yeah,
I thought
was it
rosé
red?
was the most popular.
I mean, is that stuff you like? You like the red?
Well, there's
Well,
a, you know,
rosé,
there's a
sorry.
lot of brands. There's a lot of different brands out there, but yeah, it's a good, inexpensive wine. It's a little bit of a little sparkle to it, sparkling bubbles.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on the old sparkling one. I had one that was, I forgot I got it here actually. Jimmy, you see, I totally forgot about this. I packed this when I went on the old business trip at the beginning of the week. I literally threw it in because I at the last moment I thought, yeah, let's do it. I might have it, I might not, right? Hasten to add, of course, I wasn't drinking it on the way traveling to and from the place, but I cracked this open before I left, and it is nasty as far as I'm concerned.
What is this?
It's a mini bottle. All right, it's Australian
Whoa,
white.
it looks like you finished it.
No, you can see I haven't even.
Oh, okay.
It's a mini bottle of wine. All right, and I got it because it was about, I don't know, 50 cents, 75 US cents off.
Let me tell you something. But price has
like
nothing to do with taste.
No, I know, no, but it was there, and I just thought I'll check it out because I've had it in the refrigerator here for a while, and then I thought, no, I'll throw it in, as I say, while I was heading out.
And it was no good. It was no good.
It was, as I say, like paint stripper. It's very, very strong, and on the back of the throat, it's like petrol or something. Not that I've drunk petrol before, but anyway.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
When you drank it, was it chilled?
Yes, it's chilled, but Wolf Blaz Chardonnay, and I normally like Chardonnay, but
just mix it with some juice. Mix it with some cranberry juice. It should do good.
Do you know what? It's funny. I don't like, as a general rule, I don't like cranberry juice. But recently I've been having a snack which is raisins and cranberries all mixed up, a little bit of white chocolate, a few pellets of white chocolate.
Yeah, okay, like a trail mix. Sounds like
pretty much, yeah. Although trail is synonymous with caged birds over here, I would say. I think there's a brand called Trill, and it's has sunflower seeds and that stuff that these budgerigars love. But anyhow, yes, I do cranberries. Well, these are like dried cranberries, these ones, and they're harder than
I love it.
Well, If I could actually buy a whole pack of cranberries, just cranberries, and of course you can. I haven't looked properly for them yet. I will go and buy them, and they're nice. I'd sooner be eating those, than
you can probably get it on Amazon. You got Amazon there, right?
Are you serious? I should say that twice. Are you serious? Yes,
well,
Amazon here, as you know. And you're trying to ask me if or say that you should be able to get it on Amazon, Jimmy. Just what can you not get on Amazon?
While we're on the topic of Amazon, and I know Jeff Bezos doesn't need any support, but I recently bought a pair of sneakers that were delivered today.
Trying to tell everyone what sneakers are for those that aren't aware.
I'm going to show you right now here.
Oh, okay, you're going to show us. Okay, fair enough. Sneakers, training shoes. If you're in the UK,
these are a Japanese brand. A six trainers.
Right. Did you pay for them?
Not yet.
Could you just hold them up to the camera again, please? I'm looking more on the blue label, you see, because if you haven't taken the label off, it looks like you've still got a label on them from when they were bought.
Yeah, there is. There's
a security tag or something.
There we go. Look, here.
There we go. Right.
I just received them a few hours ago, but here's the thing, right? Really? So these are six, right? I got them for about, was it $34 dollars? It's 3,500 yen. very cheap, right? And the thing is, it was the first
Affordable, not
a
cheap.
very yeah, okay, okay, they're very nice. Um, now the thing is, it's not about the sneakers I'm talking about. Today was well, I ordered them 2 days ago, so it was the first time that I tried the Amazon wardrobe. Do you know about that?
No, never heard of that
Okay,
expression, that
well,
term, or that
this is
part of the business.
excellent. Okay, so here's the deal. So you order like it's clothing, right? You order was it 3, 4, 5, 6 things? I only ordered sneakers. They
Right.
send it to you in a box, and if you're a Prime member, it's already included, right?
Hmm.
You got 7 days to return them. Of course, if you can't return them if the label's gone or you dirty them or you've been outside with it. But you got 7 days to return them on the wardrobe plans. So and the box they send it to you in,
Hmm.
it already has the mail label that will go directly to them and a sticker where you just peel off the sticker and you close it and you just drop it off at an authorized Amazon, was it a zone? Maybe it's a post
They just
office
got
or
it's so the convenience. That's what it's all
it's
about.
convenience.
Yeah, they
It's
know it. They are so onto that. Hey, just on a side issue.
great. It's
I
great.
mean,
And I'm keeping the sneakers, but the point is that wow, it made me a little bit more like confident. You know what? Okay, let me order them because shoes are like, very difficult. It's a very hard to find a pair of good shoes. Sneakers are a little bit easier, but it's hard to find a pair of shoes. But
Amazon is
just
so
because of that,
successful because of the convenience. But taking a step back, it's because they they actually analyze and take the time to collate and curate the data, and that is the
absolutely,
point. And they actually take it seriously, whereas others just don't bother. The high street stores, they should be doing, even on on a small scale, it works. Yeah, but
absolutely.
I was talking to someone recently. The best way, we were in a store, and it's like a service store, for example, whether it's your dry cleaning or it could be if you go into a sandwich store where they bake or make fresh sandwiches, cakes, that sort of. Well, let's take a sandwich as an example. You go into the store, but if they make it fresh, the trouble is, even if you go into Subway, which is an interesting topic in just a moment, but the store Subway,
I love
um,
it.
it's a global brand now, and you go in there, they make it fresh. What do you want? What roll do you want? And I'm careful when I say that. Usually they say what bread do you want, but that's a whole contentious issue at the moment. But they ask you what
It
roll
is.
do you want? Yeah, coming on to that, and what's the filling? And they make it while you wait. But there is a type of person, I would say a majority, I'd say in this day and age, certainly a younger person, who you're just you just want it there right now, there and then. So they would be happier either if they go into the store, they order, and then they know that they can just leave and maybe go next door and have a browse. And when it's ready, they're told so that they can come back into the store. How do you tell them? Send them a text message. Yeah, really simple, really easy. But rather than hanging around watching you make that sandwich, or maybe not because they can't see over the counter, and they're just sitting there bored or on their cell phone, mobile phone usually, while they wait, they can go out and do something a bit more useful, shall we say. The same, for example, with your dry cleaning. Yeah, I was talking to someone recently about that. But if, when it was ready, someone receives a text message, we can also have email. But the point is, people, their phone is always with them. And yes, while you have email on your cell phone, mobile phone as well, a text message, as soon as it's sent, you get the alert, the bip, 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 whatever sound it makes. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
laundromat and
and
coffee shops are the combination is starting to take off, isn't it?
how do you mean? In what way? That they didn't
Well,
live off?
you like your laundromat, you wait for your laundry to be done and you're drinking coffee or whatever. Yeah, I think
Okay,
this
yeah. I mean,
combination.
another example would be if you had a coffee store, it'd be really useful. And again, some people think 180 degrees in the opposite direction, right? They're like about it would be detrimental to their business, what I'm about to say. If you have a coffee store, just like at the airport, now the coffee store at the airport's got no issue with this. They have a frigging monitor in right there in front of your eyes, and you can see what time your flight and the gate is open and the flight's going to take off, if it's delayed or not. And
Good
that's right in
online.
front of you. They're not worried that if it's there, that information, like the high street stores I've tried to speak to, the little business people, I don't mean that they're 4'4". I mean, they're small businesses. They only have maybe one, maybe two stores. Okay, they're small
And
time
it
business
doesn't matter
people.
anymore. doesn't
But
matter anymore.
well, and I'm not suggesting they have a monitor there showing people's flight time.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm talking about the local bus timetable, which is live now. It tells you when the next bus is arriving and departing. Yes, of course, someone's going to walk into the store and go, "Oh, I'm going to order a coffee, but my bus is here in 45 seconds. I better get out there." Yeah, they've missed that business, but there are plenty of people that are going to walk in there. There are certain smaller towns
I
or
got
villages.
time that I'm going to sit and have a coffee.
Right. And it could, this is a sort of forward thinking that people need now in their businesses. And I see what you're saying about the coffee stores and the dry cleaning. But if it's having a key cut for your front door, you give them the key, takes what, I don't know, 5 minutes if you want it properly done, and you don't want to have to come back and say, hey, there's it's a bit sharp there or something, and I'm going to cut my hand and my fingers, so it might take 10 minutes to do the job and check it over. So I have a coffee, as you were saying, and
all your points are
together.
very valid. All your points are very valid, except for the Subway sandwich, which I usually stick around to watch exactly what they're doing, just in case I need a few more jalapenos or make sure they add more onions.
For me, it's the olives. I'm like, put some olives in, please, and they do it.
Yeah, like,
and they carry on, and then I'm like, I'll have some more black olives, please, and go for it, absolutely.
I'm much more aggressive. I'm like, what? Come on, what do you think? That's a sandwich? Come on, add some more. What is this? This is not enough.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Jimmy, it's definitely debatable now whether it is a sandwich, because I don't know if you know, but according to I believe it's the courts and the law of Ireland, Subway actually sells. Well, it's more like having
Subway sandwiches. Subways
kind of a cake sandwich rather than bread. Officially is not bread. Subway, there's too much sugar in the rolls to class them as bread. Check out your news sources now.
Okay, I'm going to do. And this is very interesting. You're saying, because I'm living in Japan, and a lot of the bread is too sweet here. So the Europeans come here and they taste it and they're like, "This is not bread. This is like cake."
Well, check it out now.
Okay, I'm going to check it out. And another thing is, here's another thing about the Japanese sandwiches I'm going to tell you about. If you don't know, people who are watching, this is a very funny thing. Sandwiches. For me, a sandwich, the meat, the lettuce, the tomatoes. I mean, when you're eating a sandwich, half of it should be falling out. Okay. But in Japan, they make sure that it's neat between the bread and that nothing's going to.
The whole thing can go in your mouth without it all falling out, though.
Well, I hate that. I can't stand that. I can't stand it. And the thing is, you don't even know what's inside it unless you open it up. And I need it to be falling all over the place, because that's kind of. I like the sandwich like that.
So now we need to figure out how we're going to invent transparent bread for Jimmy.
No, I want my stuff falling out of it.
All right. Well, then you don't have.
I want the dressing dripping down my arm while I'm eating.
You just want the filling on a plate, and that's just called a meal. But the thing is, I get what you're saying, but I'm now used to it falling out of the bread if it is indeed classed as bread and not too sugary or salty. Are you looking at your news sources there, Jimmy? Come on, check it out.
No, I got to get carried away. So what were we looking at? Ireland. Yes. Ireland court case.
Subway Island. Subway Island and bread, and it will just come up
bread
on your favorite search engine. Yeah, there you go, in the news section. We're gonna have to sort out your chroma key next week. What is it saying there? By the way, people can comment themselves. Do like, share, and follow us, please, people. And of course, you can join in as well. All you got to do, any browser, type it in there, shinecast.live/join. And although we're coming to the end of this show at ShineCast, and it has been up on the screen for you to join us earlier on, join us now. Say hello. Get in there. Someone's joining us. It's Jimmy's screen at the moment. Is that right? The next source to join us? It's going to be your, I believe.
Well, here's an article from the BBC here.
Yeah. Right.
See it?
Yeah, I think we can just about get it in there. There we go. Yeah, what does it say
Subway
there?
rolls ruled too sugary to be bread in Ireland.
There you go.
That's hilarious. The rolls used in Subway's hot sandwiches contain too much sugar to be considered bread, according to Ireland's Supreme Court. Ireland's highest court made the ruling in a case about how the bread is taxed. An Irish franchise of the U.S. company had claimed it should not pay VAT on the rolls it uses in heated sandwiches. But the court ruled that because of the level of sugar in the rolls, they cannot be taxed as bread, which is classed as a staple product with zero VAT. Okay, so It's a not non-essential food basically because it's too sweet.
Right.
Under Ireland's VAT Act of 1972, ingredients in bread such as sugar and fat should not exceed 2% of the weight of flour in the dough. Wow. And if you want to read that, yeah, go look it up. That's hilarious.
Happy with that now? Now that you know, good. Hey,
Well,
so so what have you been eating all this time? And don't forget, I don't know if they do source their bread locally, but I don't think they do. Only because when I've been when I was
of
only
course, I don't think they source it locally, but they have it. Especially, they have was it a recipe that they probably have to follow?
that's sorry, yeah, but that's the thing that the rolls, the bread, debatable, that's available in Subway. Usually, whether you go to Subway here in the UK or whether you go to Subway in the USA, it's usually the same selection. You know, and you would say Italian white, for example.
Okay, yeah.
They have
Yeah,
the
the bread. You're
wholemeal
talking
as
bread.
well. Yeah, the names for it and the actual the makeup of it. It seemed to be pretty similar, if not the same, when I was over in the USA as I am here in
Following the
England.
same recipe. They're following the same recipe. Yeah, bread in like in Japan, there's a surge in bakeries. It's very popular, but a lot of bread isn't really bread. It's too soft or it's a little bit too sweet, you know. And
Yeah,
I grew up. Well, I grew up in in America and Europe, and my stepfather was German, so we ate a lot of German Kaiser rolls and hard French breads. So I kind of enjoy that kind of bread, you know.
right. But I'm interested to know if the store Subway are going to change the bread that isn't bread to bread that is truly bread, or if they are going to say, "Ah, no," and just get on with it. You know, be interesting.
I think you can't change that. I think the bread has to stay the same. No,
So what do they call it? A sub, obviously, a Subway
Subway
sub,
sandwich,
right?
Subway sandwich,
So
and in the East Coast, I think they call it a hoagie. In the East Coast of the United States, it's called a
never heard
hoagie.
that expression before. But what I'm thinking though, they never actually refer to it as bread. So I don't know how well, it obviously came up, as we know, because of the VAT for the taxation purposes. Hey, but we'll see what happens in the future. As I say, will they feel the need to change it because of the tax incentives
Well, let me tell you
or
something.
the fact that the tax
There's a
rates are payback?
similar
Yeah,
situation in Japan
yeah,
with alcohol, beer.
uh-huh,
So beer, like let's say your regular beer is taxable to a much higher tax than compared to a white beer, a Hefeweizen. So a Hefeweizen or any kind of beer that is not goes through doesn't go through the same process as regular beer is actually priced lower
hmm.
because of the
Well,
taxation system.
Um, and I guess in the same situation as I'm about to explain, you know, with what you just said, with the beers, you can't call it a certain type of beer unless it's gone under those various
Exactly,
processes.
exactly. And then the
And
tax situation goes through that too.
the thing that springs to mind here is Parma ham. Okay, Parma ham can only be, you know, classed as Parma ham if it's made in that region, in France, and in the same. Oh, sorry, where? Yeah, yeah, Parma ham. Parma. I'm just trying to think. What did I said France, didn't I? But it's in that neck of the woods. Yeah.
Well, that brings us to another
Trying to think. It's not
interesting
French, is it? It's Italian, isn't it? Parma ham. I'm just trying to. Yeah. Yeah. Got me thinking there.
brandy.
Okay.
Brandy, cognac it has a very similar story.
Hmm. Right. Right.
Because
Right.
actually was it brandy is wine or was
Uh-huh.
wine.
Yeah.
So long ago when they were moving wine around Europe,
Yeah.
they'd be taxed by volume.
Right.
So what they did was is they cooked it into a brandy.
Hmm.
They basically condensing it, the alcohol, and so they would think then you can just like was it split it with water when you get to the other side. But if they're being taxed by volume, they condensed it into a brandy so the tax would be lower. And that is the invention of brandy, folks.
There you go. You see, yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Um, very succinct there. But again, there was the taxation thing. I wanted to go back to that with Jaffa cakes. I cannot believe that the opportunity has arisen. I just it's a long thing, but yeah, on our broadcasts that I've been involved with over the years, the Jaffa cakes, they're like, you call them biscuits, cookies, but that's the point. Are they cakes or are they biscuits, cookies?
Are these Italian?
Jaffa cakes.
No, they're UK. They're
very
UK.
British. And McVitie's, who make the original Jaffa cake over here in England, they went.
Nobody knows. When you talk about things, you need to share images because nobody knows what the hell you're talking about.
Well, well, you can. I'm sure you're going to get that up on your screen as we speak, aren't you? You're usually good at that, Jimmy. The Jaffa cakes. There you go. Yeah, right in the middle there. Look at. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
The Jaffa cakes, they are produced over here in the UK, and they went to court many years ago now because they didn't want to pay taxation, saying that they are,
Jaffa cakers.
And
why?
They won. They actually won.
Well, what's this? It's a German brand.
The court was presented with this idea and fact that if something's a cookie or a biscuit, when it goes stale, it becomes soft. Whereas a Jaffa cake, and it's a fact, when Jaffa cakes go stale, they go hard. Yeah, so therefore they must be a cake, not a biscuit or a cookie. And so, they won their case, and they don't have to pay a taxation on because they've got chocolate on them, you see. And there you go. Hey, what's going on with that? Oh, that's better. Hey, well, yes. So it's all about the taxation, is it now? And these days, I can tell you right now, through this pandemic in 2020, every penny counts. So it'll be interesting, to see what's going on there. I'm thinking in terms of just thinking now ahead of the economy, taxation, and as I say, there are businesses out there. I was speaking to a few this week when I was in the town of Broadstairs, and people just reminded me how difficult it is right now to stay afloat. So hopefully things will begin to improve. We've got the festive season coming up. This is time when people should be spending their money, but the public, with the uncertainty with their jobs and how things are going to pan out, it's going to be I was going to use the word interesting, but it's going to be a different winter, certainly. And it's going to be a harsh winter for a lot of people as well. It's obviously going to be, I think it's going to be colder than the average winter. A lot of people in general, when it's winter, on the average winter, they think about, they have this thing, we could call it heat or eat. Yeah, they can't pay for all these bills, some people, and they end up just dressing themselves, in jumpers and fully, loads of layers of clothes. And there are also some sad instances where people don't get out of bed just to keep warm.
I don't get out of bed if I don't have to get out of bed. Whether it doesn't really matter if it's warm or cold.
Yeah, I had difficulty getting out of bed this morning. It was I needed to recharge my batteries. I'd been so busy the last week. It kind of catches up with you. And I'm looking at the time now, of course, and we've totally forgotten. It must be about 3 minutes past 2 a.m. where you are, or something. I don't know.
No, 1.
Yeah. Still, it's definitely. We're burning.
Are we cutting it short? We're cutting it short.
Cutting it short. Some people will be hearing that thinking, hang on, guys, you've already been here for an hour and 5 minutes. It's already not short. So, yeah.
Eventually, I hope we have like a 2 or 3 hour show, but
are you serious?
We don't have enough material.
I'm conscious that it kind of, a lot of people, I know it's Friday, you don't have a lot of material. Listen, you want to carry on for a while?
Let me tell you something. I can continue on no, that's not true. Until I fall. If I fall out of this chair, then you can end the show. No. Right. We can cut it short. We got to save some subjects for next week.
Do you know something? Even if we carried on now constantly, I don't think there would be enough topics, time to cover the topics. Rather, there's. There's always
absolutely right.
To talk about.
And here we go. Is it Misty? The last comment
joined us. Oh yeah, she's waiting to join. She says, and it's true. She is. I could see that. I don't know if you could see that, Jimmy, but Jimmy is definitely going to be chatting with Misty right now because everyone, welcome to this little chat that is the one and only Misty Chanel from the northeast of England. Kinda. Is that right, Misty? Are you there?
Yeah. I'm in East Hull. I'm in East
there you go, Jimmie.
Yorkshire.
Yeah, the East Riding of Yorkshire, as it's known. Is that right?
Yep, East Riding of Yorkshire.
There we go.
So
Well, thanks
what's
for joining
going
us,
on,
Jay.
guys? Yeah, what I want to say, Jimmie, yeah, we call them, and also Martin, to correct you on your vocabulary, we don't call them trainers. We call them
Sneakers.
either sneakers or tennis shoes.
Well, that's
They're
what Jimmie said.
tennies.
First of all, you couldn't have. You must have been calling in at the time.
I said sneakers.
He did say sneakers.
Yeah, he did say sneakers, but they're also known as tennis shoes.
Or trainers. That's true.
And
not
squash.
trainers.
Then squash. What about squash?
Well, no, they're known as trainers.
But also on the topic of Subway, breads are made. They do put sugar in the bread in the States, so that's why people think it's not considered bread or whatever they're saying about Subway sandwiches or their breads that they put this, stuff in.
It's legal mumbo jumbo if they can escape the tax system. That's all it is. I think in actual fact they really don't care. Yeah,
they really don't care, but
they
it's
really
the legalities of the mumbo jumbo and bullshit bureaucracy is throwing out there.
Exactly.
You've got a fan out there still in the Buckeye State there in the USA, Misty. It's a big hello from Brenda, who's probably still working.
Hey, Brenda, how are you doing, Brenda? What's going on, girl?
She's reminding us.
Okay, you know what? Let me tell you something. Tennis shoes. It depends on if you're from the Midwest, your East Coast or West Coast too. This is a big difference too. They're called different things depending on where you are in the United States. It's the same with freeways and highways.
Motorways.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to call them. Freeways or expressways or highways or whatever.
It depends on where you are in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
And somebody actually told me that basketball shoes aren't. Somebody told me the other day that basketball shoes aren't sneakers, and I was like, "What? They're all sneakers."
Yeah, they're all tennis shoes.
No, they're not all tennis shoes because if they're basketball shoes, they can't be tennis shoes. But they're all
tennis shoes.
No, they're all sneakers.
They're all tennis shoes or sneakers, whatever you want to call them. But I'm going to call them tennis shoes.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. Let me get my tennis shoes on so we can play some basketball.
Here's one for you, Jimmie.
Yeah, put them on so we can play some hoops.
Okay, here we go. I call it soda pop.
No, down south they call it soda water.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, see?
What was it called in England? Setzer?
No, they call it fizzy drink.
Fizzy drinks, yeah. If so, someone says, "Would you like? What would you like? I'll have would you like to drink? I'll have a fizzy drink, or I'll have a Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola. Other colas are available.
I drink my whiskey with fizzy water.
Fizzy water, right? Yeah, and of course,
the first time I come out with, I wanted a soda water or a soda pop, they looked at me like I was strange and weird and I was from another planet in the UK.
They never heard of it.
Well, part of that's right, isn't it, Misty?
Pardon?
No, I said part of that's correct, isn't it? You just said there.
The crazy part, is that the crazy part you're talking about?
The crazy part is they looked at me like I was weird, strange, and I was from another planet.
Right.
And like they call shrimp prawns over here. So when I went in and ordered a sandwich and I wanted a shrimp sandwich, and they looked at me and they argued with me, and she gave me a sarcastic look and said, "We don't have shrimp." I says, "Yes, you do." I says, "It's right there." And this is when I had sight now. And I says, "Well, we don't call that here." And she got real sarcastic. I called the manager over and told the manager, "Man, you need to teach your people customer service and not to be rude to the customers. Customers do come first. And no matter what they call it, by what name they call it, they should know the difference between it when people are speaking of something that they want and they call it by one name and y'all call it by another name. So I'm getting all this grief from her. So please teach her some proper etiquette and customer service. I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been
Well,
into stores
shrimp
before.
or prawn? Okay, wait. Shrimp and prawns have a different anatomy. Prawns are branching gills, claws, or three pairs of their legs, and the second pincers that are larger than their front ones. Shrimp, on their end, have lamellar or
No, they're the
plate-like.
same thing. They're the same thing as shrimp. They just call them prawns over here. And they're
No,
shrimp.
I'm actually
They're
looking
not
at.
any different than shrimp. They're no different than that, Jimmy.
Jimmy's having a look at the moment to double check this on his sources, and yeah, he's doing some research as we speak.
Yeah, he's gonna research it. They're not any different. Prawn and
No,
shrimp are the same.
I'm giving you the thing. Here's the thing. Prawns have bigger branching gills, claws on three pairs of their legs, and second pincers that are larger than the front ones. Shrimp, on the other hand, have lamella, a plate-like gills, and claws on two pairs of their legs. So that's the difference between shrimp and prawns. They look similar.
They're
But
the same.
I'm getting.
I've seen them in the stores with the heads in the pictures and everything else, and they're the same as shrimp. Prawns are the same thing.
What about the
so
question
don't
on the screen
argue
there,
with
Jimmy?
me there, Jimmy.
Oh, hang on.
I'm just reading here. I'm just reading what I'm reading here. So
we just got something here on the screen now, Jimmy. What does it say there? With the Brits use the silent H. Brenda's referring to the fact that the word herb or herb.
herb and herb.
Yeah.
I use both.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I wonder if Misty's got a view on that. What do you think, Misty? Herb or herb?
It's herb.
It is.
It's a herb. Herb.
I think. Yes.
What do you say, Martin? What do you say?
Herb. It was always herb. Yeah. There's no reason
Well,
to.
then Brenda, what is Brenda saying? The Brits say the silent H.
Yeah.
Oh, they use the silent H.
Yeah,
herb.
we use it. So we actually use the letter and pronounce it is what she means. So yeah, always
pronunciation. Like
but
Hall isn't pronounced Hull. The H is silent, so it's
yeah, but that's not an official thing. It is officially Hull, but the locals call it all. ULL kind of yeah.
Without the H.
But you will not find someone in the United States of America calling herbs. They'll be herbs. And
now, wait a minute. Now, see, I lived in Texas, and I lived in a town called Humble, and I got corrected really quick when I was there. And we don't call it Humble. It's Humble without the H.
Okay.
Well, Humboldt's a very famous town for herb.
So yeah. So it's just like herb, but like here we pronounce it O, and Humble is pronounced humble without the H.
Right. See, you just have
to know the lingo.
Well, people have learned it here today. Thank you very much, Misty, for that. And absolutely, you never know what you're going to learn here. Jimmy, what do they call herbs or herbs in Japan?
Well, of course, the pronunciation is completely different. So it's hab. So they would say with an H.
Hub.
But it's more of a they're using a completely different writing system. So it's a HAB.
Okay. well, we've got to learn some Japanese sometime. I mean, come on, if you're here, and after all, you're teaching English to Japanese and other people around the planet, for that matter. In your
Sure, I'll teach you Japanese for money.
Right. Well, yeah, we've got to have a few freebies here and there. Come on. Anyway, listen, we're going to wrap things up now. I think, Jimmie, we've been here for quite a while. We've had Misty. Thank you so much for calling in there.
Thank you, Misty.
You'll join us again soon as well. And you out there who haven't joined us again. What's going on? We need plenty. I say we need. You got it. We want to hear your view. Whatever we're talking about, even if it's something we're not talking about. What we're going to talk about next week, Jimmie? What do you think we should talk about that we haven't spoken about yet?
Whatever the guest wants to talk about. If they come on and they say, hey, I want to know about this, or what do you think about this? And that's what we're going to talk about.
That's the URL on the screen right now. If people want to join us at any time, this one's pretty much done and dusted. But if you want to join, shinecast.live/join. And we want to hear from you. Don't forget to share, like, and follow. And particularly if you're watching on the replay, if you are connected with us on one of the social platforms, but ideally I'd say probably Facebook or Twitter, Periscope, then you won't miss a thing, because you should receive a notification when we are going live in the future. And at the moment, Jimmie, it's on a Friday, isn't it? It's Fridays, some short time after what? My time here in the UK, 3 p.m. But that's all going to change, I'm sure. If not sooner, then a little later, because we're gonna have so much going on that we're gonna have to slot this in somewhere. But it'll work, and it is working. And what we've seen, there's been quite a few people watching the last few weeks, Jimmie.
Yes, and thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, guys, for having have a great end to your Friday. Well, I will, but Jimmie's is done and dusted.
I'm just beginning my day here.
Brenda was saying just before she thanked us, she was saying that was interesting. Regarding our little chat earlier on there with Misty and all. So there we go. Right. How's your glass doing there, Jimmie? Before we leave you,
I'm about done.
Could we just see that one more time? Let's just see. Oh yeah.
And again, I'll let you know it's Black Label, Johnny Walker. It's good stuff. Okay. I started the evening today with with Bells, but I switched over to Black Label.
Yeah, the Bells. I'm not too good with Bells.
I never had Bells. I thought you suggested it to me, so that's why I bought a bottle.
I did suggest it because you had to try it, just like I did and didn't like it. You had to try it because you may have agreed with. I would say I've spoken the majority of people that I mention it to, they seem to like it. So, and you tried it, you wouldn't have known. But yeah, it's just I'm not happy with it as a whiskey myself. So hey ho, there we go. Listen, everyone, we're going to say goodbye to Jimmie first of all. So thank you, Jimmie. Until next time.
See you next week.
Absolutely. We will see Jimmie around about the same sort of time next week. And what was that before Jimmie goes? There used to be a beer called Black Label. Well, there used to be Carling Black Label still around here in the UK. But yeah, there you go. So now, maybe you can grab some of that and show us next time, Brenda, if it's still available there.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, if you're going to join us, well, she's probably in the middle. Yeah, she said she might join us, but what time is it there? So she's about what?
8
12
hours.
12?
5 hours further back than London is from you. So she's 13 hours back from your time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A little too early to drink.
Well, maybe Brenda could start drinking the night before. And it would just be Thanks, Jimmie. Catch you soon.
Goodbye. See you next week.
You absolutely will. Yeah, that's Jimmie Heaven all the way there from Japan. And until next time, everyone, thank you for joining me. Like, share, follow, please do, here at ShineCast.live on any browser. Otherwise, it's Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and of course, YouTube at the moment. And be part of the chat and the community as we continue forward. Until next time, stay safe. Look after yourselves. I hope you have a great week. I'll be back online much before my next chat with Jimmie, here, there, and everywhere. So you can follow me. You know me. There's my name on the screen. You can search for me, and I'll be up and down on Periscope sooner, probably rather than later, over the next day or two. Thanks for watching, everyone. Until next time, it's goodbye from me, from Jimmie, from Misty Chanel, who she's long gone now, and thanks to her for joining me. Thanks to you joining and watching as well. Until next time, bye bye. Oh, am I back on? I am back on. La 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 la. Dum bum ba dum. Can you still hear me, people? Yeah, we're still live. Yes, because that's the good thing about ShineCast. You see what's going on before and after. There's one thing I didn't do, and it's still there, and it's at the bottom of the screen, and we should have really done that. There we go. Banner's disappeared now. Should have done it before the titles, but hey ho, there you are. We'll get it right eventually. Jimmie, excuse me. Jimmie's vacated his chair. I can only imagine why. His bottle is, after all, it has less content in it now, doesn't it? Whereas his bladder, I'm sure, is much more full than it was earlier on when we started. And so Jimmie will be back with us very shortly, I think. But we're going to say goodbye now, because those that are watching live, obviously you get all this. At the moment, the on-demand replays also still have this, but eventually we'll be chopping this down before the titles start. You won't see anything. It'll just be the titles at the beginning, then our little chat, and it will be a shorter chat going forward. And then once the titles roll at the end, then immediately after them, it'll stop. But at the moment, as I say, we've got this bit of babble because we can have, and also it gives you a bit of an insight. Anyone got any comments out there while you're still watching before I switch off the live? Got loads of stuff to do here. Jimmie, what's going on there? No more comments. No more comments. Oh, Brenda said, thank you very much. That was nice. Goodbye, Martin. Yeah, thank you very much. And excellent. Goodbye to you. And let's see. Is it, you see, I'm not making it up, you know. You see, there we are. He's back in the chair. Back in the chair. We're still live, Jimmie. Can you hear me? Oh, that's good. Oh, see, we can't hear you. Why? Because as it says on the screen, his mic's muted. Look, see, we can unmute it, and then goodness me, what's going on? Oh, I see, because the mic isn't connected. Oh, I see.
No, here it goes.
It is. Yeah, I know why. Yeah, yes. Yeah, we're still live. We're going to stop any moment now.
We're still live, but I was going to eat something. This is a Japanese, was it a rice ball with salmon in it?
Okay. Well, we're going to end our live broadcast now, and until next time. So thanks for watching, everyone. That does look. The color of it it's
rice with seaweed and salmon inside.
Yeah, but the salmon looks more orange than pink. I'm not suggesting that if you hadn't said it was salmon, I wouldn't have realized it was salmon. It looks like it almost looks like some sort of Indian kind of. Excuse me. It looks like it's got Thousand Island dressing on it or something. Anyway, enjoy that, Jimmie, and thank you for watching, everyone. We better get out of here. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.